All right, let's get straight into it. You know, sometimes you read a headline and you just have to laugh to keep from crying. Because the absolute disconnect between the people in power and the reality on the ground is not just a gap anymore, it's a bloody chasm. And the latest performance in Parliament, where our Defence Minister Angie Motshekga tried to sell us a fairy tale about high morale and the SANDF, is a prime example.
No, thank you very much, Chair, and thanks for the opportunity for us to present ourselves before you. Maybe I should also do what other committee members did, just to show the camera and switch it off. I have a very weak signal, so if you don't mind, I'll switch it off after this introduction. Chair, I will ask, because the entire team from DOD is at one place, so they'll have to introduce themselves because they are, as I said, they're converging under one system. Then I'll ask the deputy ministers, because I'm also using a gadget that or at least General Holomisa is here.
Chair, I must be honest that I feel that the presentation that we have received here today does not reflect the reality of what we encounter in the South African National Defence Force. I think there is a gap between the reality, between what we as members encounter when we go on oversight visits, and when we are also engaged by members of the South African National Defence Force. Now, I do not want to undermine the integrity of those who have done this particular survey, but I do want to raise some serious concerns and questions which I hope they will be able to clarify to us. As far as I understand, this survey has been conducted internally by the Department of Defense. My concern here is whether the members who have participated in this survey had the sense of security and guarantee that their responses are in a way that it is not revealed, therefore that they are anonymous in their response, and that they could not be victimized for their response. That is very important, Chair. And I'm concerned about the high number of the questionnaires that have been handed out that have not been returned, 1,638. And also a significant number of spoiled questionnaires, 270. That indicates to me, Chair, a concern that even some of those who have participated in the survey may not necessarily have felt comfortable in doing so and therefore did not return the survey forms that they have received. I would like to hear what the department thinks about this, and also I would like to understand what the implications of these are for the final findings of the survey.
So, let's break this down properly. The number one question screaming from this report is this: were our SANDF officers intimidated? Now, the report doesn't come out and say it in black and white, but you don't need a university degree to read between the lines, do you? When a committee member like Carl Niehaus stands up and says, and I quote, "The presentation we have received here today does not reflect the reality of what we encounter in the SANDF." What is he really saying? He's pointing a giant flashing arrow at the possibility that the people who answered this survey were too scared to tell the truth. Think about it. You're a soldier. Your pay is late. Your boots are falling apart. You're facing rebels in the DRC with equipment that belongs in a museum, and then your bosses hand you a survey asking, "So, how's morale?" What are you going to say? Are you going to be the one to put your hand up and say everything is cack? Not if you're worried about your next promotion or your next deployment or just making waves in a system that doesn't like dissent. This isn't a survey, it's a box-ticking exercise designed to make the top brass look good, and every soldier filling it out knows the score. They were intimidated by the very structure of the system they serve. And this brings us to the second point. Why does Parliament doubt it? They doubt it because they have eyes. They go on oversight visits. They talk to soldiers off the record. They see the state of the equipment. They hear the stories from the border, from the DRC. They know that a soldier who has to buy his own boots because the government issued ones disintegrate in the rain is not a soldier with good morale. They know that a soldier who hasn't been paid on time, whose family is struggling back home, is not scoring the image of the department as a great employer, so Parliament doubts it because the evidence of their own senses contradicts this glossy, sanitized report. It's like someone trying to tell you your house isn't on fire while you were standing there holding a bucket of water and smelling the smoke. The doubt isn't just reasonable. It's the only sane response to such a blatant piece of fiction. But hold on. How did they arrive at this conclusion? This is where it gets really interesting, and where we need to apply some proper South African slim. The report mentions thousands of respondents. Okay, fine. But a sample size is useless if the methodology is flawed. If you survey people in a context where they don't feel safe to speak freely, your data is garbage from the get-go. What was the method? Was it anonymous, truly anonymous, or was it one of those things where your commander hands you the form and stands there waiting? Were the questions leading? Did they ask, how proud are you to serve the SANDF, instead of do you have the resources to complete your mission without fearing for your life? This is basic stuff. And let's talk about the statistical method. How did they weight the responses? Did they give more value to the opinions of generals sitting in comfortable offices in Pretoria than to the lance corporals in the mud of the DRC? The report doesn't say, and that in itself is a massive red flag. A proper survey would be transparent about its methodology. This one reeks of a public relations stunt designed to produce a specific, predetermined result that everything is just fine and dandy. And for whom is it not fine? It's not fine for every single citizen who relies on the SANDF for our national security. But let's be brutally honest for a moment and talk about a perspective that gets shouted down whenever it's raised. For the minority of South Africans, and particularly for the white South Africans still serving in this force, this collapse is a special kind of heartbreak. Many of them come from generations of military service. It's in their blood. They joined a new, integrated SANDF with a vision of a world-class force for a new South Africa. And what have they been given? A front-row seat to the decay. They are the officers watching their gripens being stripped for parts. They are the engineers trying to keep a 50-year-old Rattel running with cable ties and hope. They see their pensions disappearing, their career progression stalled, their expertise ignored in favor of political appointments. And they are trapped. They can't speak out without being labeled, without being accused of undermining the state. So they watch this noble institution, one they pledged their lives to, being systematically dismantled by corruption, incompetence, and a sheer lack of political will. And then they are handed a survey and told to say they're happy. It's a bloody insult. So what do we do with this information? Do we just shake our heads and change the channel? No. We have to become the oversight that Parliament is trying to be. We have to keep the pressure on. We have to share these stories, to talk about the reality, not the PR spin. And this is where I need you. If this kind of no-nonsense, truth-to-power breakdown resonates with you, then you understand how important it is to have a platform that isn't afraid to call a spade a spade. So here's what you can do. If you have the means, please consider joining the channel membership or sending a super thanks. It directly fuels this mission to get the real stories out there. If you can't, no stress at all, but you can still make a massive difference. Let the ads play for at least 30 seconds because that support keeps the lights on. And the things that cost you nothing, they're just as crucial. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, share it with everyone you know on WhatsApp, on Facebook, wherever you have conversations. And most importantly, get down into the comments. Tell me what you think. Do you know someone serving in the SANDF? What are their stories? Let's get this conversation trending and show that we see through the smoke and mirrors, because silence is what they're counting on, and we're not about to give it to them.